Hi, it's Rachel Maldonado.
I'm Alex Krainer.
Hi, Rachel, it's Jamie.
And, this is the men's roundtable because I think that others want to know the male point of view. So, our topic is casual sex, and I hope that you guys will keep it raw and real. So, you ready?
Yeah, that's great. I let the young guy to start. Come on, let's. You
Oh,
can start talking about it.
okay, let's go. Let's roll. Well, I got a question for you guys. Do you think that casual sex is easy for men to get?
I don't really know how to answer that question. I think it depends on how you go about it. I'm 54 years old. Um, I think it's not difficult to get,
Mm.
but I don't necessarily want it that way.
Oh, interesting.
You know, it's a complicated question. It's not just a yes or no question.
Oh, I like it. Good. Good.
Yeah, but like I said, like Alex said, I mean, I also old school, and getting casual sex is easy. It's not difficult, but it's. I mean, I don't looking for casual sex anymore because what is the deal with? I mean, I prefer to find a real woman, and. And I believe that a lot of women are complaining now they don't find their man, whatever. But it's because guys go to them, go out, have sex in the first or second or third date, and then that's it. I mean, the guy's not interested anymore because he can find any more. But I believe casual sex is easy. It's easy right now with the women, but it's not my deal.
Mm, yes. And so, how easy is it to get? You don't have to go nowhere or even go on a date. You can just go at it. Like it's that easy.
Shall I go? Um, I from my point of view, I guess, you have, so I'm divorced, I'm single, so it should be very easy. And there's all these dating sites, right? I'm I've been divorced for 5 years now. No, 6 years almost. Yeah, no, 6 years. And I haven't been on any dating sites because I have many friends who are on dating sites, and all the stories I know from them have been um, how to put it in good terms, catastrophic to lousy to catastrophic on that scale. And I know a very small handful who have had good experiences and who have met somebody good. And so I in the last 6 years I went on a few dates, but as Jamie said, I prefer to meet somebody that I like than just to meet somebody because I can, and I in my when I was in my 20s and 30s, let's call it late 20s and early 30s, uh, I was able to, go out and date because I was single and I didn't have a family and I didn't have children. I was able to go out and date and, have casual sex. And I remember that I didn't really feel very good about it. And there was even a period of time, a very short period of time, a few weeks, where I dated three different women, girls. And it was the only time in my life that I actually wasn't comfortable in my own skin, that I was feeling unhappy. And I thought, why would I do this? And it was stupid, like I did it because I could, because like nothing was holding me back, and I thought like, what the hell? But I didn't feel good about it. And so, and in the end, your behavior is hurtful to the other people. So you're disrespecting them. Ultimately, it reflects on you. So like I had to think, I'm being a jerk here. You keep hearing yourself lying all the time. you could keep having to make little life alterations that just feel like insults to myself, to my dignity. You know, like I was living in a building that had 3 different entrances, and I had to make kind of like, I always thought about, am I going to go out the front door? Am I going to go out in the parkway? Because I thought like maybe the wrong person might bump into me over there. And then, you know, like women have this super sensitive radar for these things. So you get busted anyway very quickly. And so the whole thing was like a train wreck, and I hated it. I hated it. So I was, you know, like I was able to indulge myself in certain things that maybe as a fantasy sounds good, but in reality, it's it's almost like it's almost like corroding your own self-image, self-respect, your self-esteem. And so you know, I stopped that, and I haven't, you know, like I've been very, then okay, then I got married eventually, then I spent 16 years married. And now I really don't want to put myself through that, you know. So if I'm going to be with somebody, I have to be very certain that I'm going to want to wake up next to that person. Do you know what I mean? If I think like, oh, you know, like she's kind of sexy and all this, but you know, I'd really rather she wasn't there in the morning, then I don't even do anything. And so yeah, and then there's another aspect to that. I'm sorry, this is a long answer, but I have to say it. Over the last few years, maybe 10 years or so, I've been doing a lot of writing. I write a lot. You know, I write a Substack. I published 3 books and so forth. And I discovered that I like writing. I enjoy writing. It's like creating something. And you know, I quite enjoy that work. And then, you know, like when you get into a relationship, that can be a source of inspiration, or it can be a chaos. You know, it can mess up your energy. It can be a big drain. So that too is a, you know, I'm at the age when I'm not desperate to be dating anybody. So it has to be a lot of pluses before, you know, I'll venture into something.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, I'm 62. I am like old school, but still, I mean, I'm not looking for anything really in the moment. And I mean, my daughters, everything. And then what happened is women are always talk now, young people, or many women say about they hate what they call toxic masculinity, all those things, whatever. But in the end, they want a man, a real man. And I can see that because I mean, sometimes I just go and being a gentleman and they take it the wrong way. They think that I'm hitting on them and they come and go after me. But I mean, I just being a gentleman. I mean, my own try to open the door, uh, treat them well, talk to them nicely, give them some good compliment, whatever. And they take it the wrong way. And then they thinking I'm looking and they offer themselves in a way. It's strange because I said, oh man, I mean, look at me. I mean, I am 62 and I still I still look cool. We look like some of these people, but I know it is being a gentleman is not normal anymore, and these people see it as a something special or something that I am interested in the lady. But and that's an issue because I know a lot of my friends the same thing happened to them. They are family, the same like me, and we are not looking for a quick sex, nothing like that at all. And that's happening. That's happening. And that's what I said. These young ladies or these middle-aged ladies, whatever, they are missing the real man. They don't know what it is, and they criticize it. But once they find one, they get surprised how great it is for them to be treated like a woman, like I mean,
Yes.
and that's the problem. And now that thing, equal thing, whatever, we're not equal. We are not. We are a man and a woman, and that's it. And is there with a greater things that men we don't have, and men is there to protect women. And trying to protect or trying to be a great person with these women, they confuse it with that we are hitting on them, and that's one issue. And like Alex said, when I was young, okay, it was like a competition because as my friend said, I went and slept with two girls. I mean, that my idea was like, okay, I have to beat him, and I have to show him. Okay, sometimes I'm honest. Sometimes I made up the story just to look good, and then like that's how good I felt like I was a man. When I was 15, 20, whatever. Oh yeah, man. Oh, you too. I got three. Easy, man. It made that now and none. But I mean, as a young kid, it's different. I mean, because we just want to look good and cool and be a guy. Because I was, was in a sport and the girls look at you, whatever. Doesn't matter. But really, excuse me, we have two groups of girls. The girls that we respected, that we will never touch them, that we were thinking, okay, we are going to marry them in the future, and the girls that were easy, and then we knew that it was just for the moment. And that's something that girls don't understand now. Even now, men, they know, okay, this lady, I respect her because she's a great, and I know she's is formal and she's nice, and that's what I want to marry. But right now, is not, I don't want to marry. Then I have this other group of women that are easy, that they thinking that I am interested in them, but it's not true. And that's a big deal that's going to happen now. That's what many girls said. Oh, I went out with 10 guys and nobody want to marry me. Of course, they're easy. I mean, you want the girls to be played with. But then you got the other one that the guy said, oh, so hard, man. I have been trying like months and she hasn't not even give me a kiss. But then you become like, it's like, I wanted her. I really wanted her. And then because you are fighting for her, you start caring more for her. And that's the big difference. And that's what's happening. Even if the people think that that's always all style, there's all people, but no, that's still the modern time. Because I talk to a lot of guys, young guys, because I help them, I train them in survival skills. I want them to be real men, and always the same complaint. These girls are so easy. I don't want them, and I'm looking for a formal one. I'm looking for a formal one, and that's happening. And that's why I said quick sex for me is easy to find, but it's not the right thing. And also, I said, I mean, I remember I after some time, I wanted to apologize to some lady because the way I treat them, and I mean, I disrespect them in a way, even if they didn't care. By disrespecting, I felt bad, and still at my age, I feel bad what I did to some young girls. And I mean, I say it wasn't my fault because I didn't know better, but still, it wasn't the man needs to do. It wasn't that.
Hmm. So, quick sex doesn't always equate to real interest? How does that work?
Well, I think that you can say that as a general principle, you know. But every case is different. You know, I had experiences where I met a girl, everything went really fast, but I ended up really liking her and we remained very good friends and I didn't think any less of her,
Mm.
you know, and then there were also, you know, experiences where, you know, I had to work, you know, I had to deserve my intimacy and all that, and then I didn't necessarily gain that much. It's I don't know. It's very different from case to case, and you know I wouldn't be quick to judge anybody because you know maybe she went to bed with me a little bit too easily. Hey, I can understand that maybe she finds me irresistible, so I have to accept that. But I think as a general thing, a relationship, like a real relationship, is with somebody that you can talk to as well, you know? And I find talking to people very gratifying. And so if I meet somebody that I really enjoy talking to, that's already something, because you want the relationship to go on and you want it to get deeper. And then when it becomes physical, it feels much more real and solid, and you know, like you feel real emotion. And so I think that maybe has a lot more lasting power than if it just starts on the physical side, and then, you know, who knows, maybe things beyond physical go the right way or the wrong way. But I also wanted to add something, because, okay, so you have two mature men before you, so maybe this whole discussion is somehow skewed to irrelevance for younger men. But I do remember very vividly, you know, when I was a teenager in Croatia, I had a group of friends. It was six of us that we hung out all the time. We went out all the time, and we fantasized about girls. And every time we went out, we wanted to meet girls, and we could never get any, but we talked about it a lot. And then when we exceptionally got some dates and maybe, you know, felt some physical gratification and all this, I remember that we always had these discussions about, it's not about that. I really want something deep and meaningful. At 16, I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So, you know, you were fully in the age when lust is very strong, when you're having a lot of hormonal reaction, and we could barely contain yourself. So, you know, like you look at girls maybe in a different way than you do when you're a mature man. But that need for like a deeper connection was exactly the same,
Mm.
to my mind, as it is now. You know, you just, you know, you're less mature, so you don't understand it quite so well. But, you know, my friends and I, we spent a lot of time talking. And I remember that we had a lot of conversations like this, you know, that, you know, you wanted to be in love. You didn't want to just have some titties in your hands. I mean, you did want that too, but you wanted to be in love. You wanted to have a bond, like a real bond with someone special, and you wanted that bond to be meaningful. So there, I wanted to add that, because, you know, like I don't want to, I don't want the discussion to sound like, oh, we don't care about certain things anymore because we're past, you know, the age. You know, like when you get older, you like fine wine. When you're younger, you drink whatever's going to get you drunk quicker. So, but I think that at the core, our needs are the same, whether we're young or whether we're old. And I think that need is to bond with someone. And because we are made to live in couples, we're made to raise families in couples. That's the most important project of your life. And so I think there's a longing for that bonding. And that longing, I think, doesn't change whether you're, you know, a 16-year-old guy who doesn't really know what he wants, or whether you're, you know, 60 or 80 or whatever, I think.
Hmm. Do you think that when it is very casual, that you cannot bond? You know, if you're having a lot of casual sex, it's difficult to bond when it is too casual.
Yeah, probably. Probably, yes.
So, like Alex said, I mean, you find different type of girls. As the younger generation is different, because I mean they go out and they have sex so easy. And but in my time, I mean, we had to work a little bit harder to get it, but I still we were able to get it, and we knew how to do it, and we tried to. Like I said, we had the two groups. The one we knew was easy to find, and also had some friends that always talking about still. I mean, they are 60 years old and they're still talking about like they are 15 years old, and I hate that. I hate that because I mean they never grew up, and then awful to talk to them out there, man. Stop talking like that. We are not into that anymore. We are not 15, we are not 18. But yeah, true. When we were 15, 18, like I said, we made up all these stories. So we went out to a girl, and then we destroy sometimes the girl in many ways because we talk about her. We were not careful saying about who she was, whatever. We just wanted to be proud of ourselves, and that was really bad. I mean, I recognize that, but it was the norm. That we will say, oh yeah, that that girl. Oh yeah, I had it, and she did this and this and this with me. It's because you wanted to impress your friend. That was really bad. But also the girl was easy. I mean, in many ways. I can tell you this: when I met my wife, I was going out with many girls. I was looking at her, and she said to me, she said, well, she didn't say to me, she just spoke really slowly, that way I can read her lips. And she said, why is that stupid guy looking at me? And I laughed and I said, oh, okay, that's a good challenge. And because it was hard, she was my wife after, and then because it was hard, I mean, it was the hardest girl to get. Well, it was like months, and she always put excuses, and I was her friends just to find out about her. And I mean, I was a good talker. I was a good talker. I recognize that, and I I was good to getting girls because I knew what to say. And but like I said, it was easy in that time. I believe that easier now in many ways, but still there's a lot of good girls. A lot of good girls. I mean, I don't say that going sleeping with somebody. There's a lot of traditional girls. It's better to say that traditional girls that they want to be virgin until they get married. They still are, and it's something that I'm looking at some age now. They are trying to be, they are becoming more Christian again. They are trying to protect themselves. They are trying to go to the traditional relationship. They are tired of this garbage about genders and all this. I don't say the word, but I mean all that things that destroying the world, destroying the family, and they want to raise their kids. They want to stay home. They want to they are professionals, but they want to stay home with the kids. They are happy to raise the kids. They see the traditional family as the base of the community and everything. That's why these people trying to destroy the family, because the family is everything for a good society, and then that's why the government is pushing all this garbage about trans, whatever. I believe that people are getting tired of that, and now we are going back to the traditional thing. And like I said, men can destroy the reputation of any woman, any moment, because we will talk to our friends, we will say about things, we will say, oh yeah, she's easy, you can go and you can do all this with her. And that's they only will look at her like a sexual object. That's it. They know. But I believe that yeah, they have casual sex, but it was like for a strong relationship. They already have some, you know each other, that you like each other, and you have sex. It's okay. I mean, I don't see it wrong. Also, I don't see it. It's okay because I mean, you are working for a strong relationship, and you think that's the way. I mean, I'm very traditional, but I think that that's the way. I don't condemn that. But also, I believe that a man has to work harder to get a woman. He will do it, and the woman grow in him because when you have a challenge, you become more and more interested in that challenge, and then you really, when you get it, when you do it, even if before getting married, after getting married, if you never married, you get living together, whatever. But it was hard to get it. It's a lot better because you work for it, and it was like a real reward. It's not like, oh, it was so easy, and then as easy comes, easy goes, and I believe on that.
Mm. Do you think that there is a double standard? If the man has sex with 300 women, he's having sex with someone, so the women, their count is 300 too. And yet, is there still a double standard?
I think there's definitely a double standard, but I think it's not completely unfounded, you know, because we are biologically very, very different, you know. Men, you know, a man can get a woman pregnant and go away. A woman, if she gets pregnant, that stays with her. Yeah. So one side ejaculates, the other one receives. So I think that in a way, if we go by this, you know, evolutionary theory of biology, which, you know, some people embrace, then, you know, the man's interest is to spray his genes around, right? Whereas a woman can only give child to one mate at a time. So, you know, a man's promiscuity from that point of view is adaptive, and a woman's promiscuity in that way is just gratuitous. So it's, you know, a bad thing. But I think regardless of all that, my personal experience is that, you know, there's the real stuff, and then there's just escapism, okay? Because, you know, through sex, you also get some kind of a short-term hit. It's fun. The mating game is fun. The chase is fun. You know, the first time going to bed with somebody is kind of exciting and kind of unpredictable and kind of all of these things. But in the end, it's one of those things that doesn't fulfill you. It just kind of distracts you, and it allows you to escape from yourself, from your real life, from your real problems in life, and so on. So I think that if people, you know, people who are sex addicts, people who are overindulgent, they're usually escaping something, you know, they're usually escaping themselves. And I think that in the end, probably it leaves you feel empty and lonely. And that was my experience when, you know, in my late 20s and early 30s, I was going a little bit overboard because I don't know, I had a bit of money. I was, you know, better looking than I am now. I was, you know, athletic. I had a, you know, it wasn't difficult for me to find girls and to hook up with girls. But it, you know, it left me, there was something very hollow about the whole thing. And so, you know, double standard, yes, there's a double standard. Is there a reason for the double standard? Maybe it's like, maybe there has to be a double standard because it's two different sexes. But I think that ultimately it doesn't even matter. It's not, you know, like, oh, let's make the standard the same so that everybody can go crazy and, you know, like have a different partner every day. I think that we need to focus on other things in life. And I think that we have to focus on quality. I think that relationships, like everything else in life, is a matter of building it, refining it, improving it, making it work, rather than just like, you know, hopping from one lily pad to the other and like, oh, you know, this doesn't work for me, I'll just go to the next one. And, you know, always discovering something new, but never really finding a home, you know, like a soul, home for your soul.
And Jamie, do you think that there's a double standard if the woman slept with dozens or hundreds of men, as the men are doing? You know, the men are sleeping with someone. So if the women are sleeping with a lot of men, is there a double standard, the male point of view, how they are seen?
Look, yeah, double standard, I don't know. But I mean, that's different between men and women. That's it. Okay. If a woman has sex and the guy left, she feels used. If the guy leaves, if the guy, I don't think it's hard to, like I said, oh, she used me just for sex. I mean, I don't see that from any guy. I mean, oh my God, she used me just for sex. I am so sad and everything, and start crying. It's nothing. I mean, yeah, another one. That's it. But a woman, she put a lot into, and a lot of women feel that the guy used her. I mean, they wanted to listen back from him. He said, "Okay, I gave everything I have. This is the maximum thing I can give," and they feel used. And that's not a double standard. It's that's the way we are. I mean, and I know because I mean I have 4 sisters, 2 daughters, and wife, and everything. I mean, I always are surrounded by women, and I mean they the boyfriend, oh yeah, I know my boyfriend, they came and they have to give a kiss and he can come back. Oh, he used me. Okay, that's the way. That's why I believe in that. Also, like I said, it's guys. I mean, even people don't like it to hear this. Men are different. I mean, men like Ali was saying. I mean, we just give is the one who receive. And if something happened, the woman has to suffer more the consequences than the guy. And then, I mean, the woman has to be more careful. And like I said, yeah, in the world, it's not double standard. I think he believe that's the definition of women and men. Also, women, even if we live in the call a patriarchal type of thing, it's not true. In the family, the center of everything is the mother. At the center, and then she who will give the example to the kids. And a son or a daughter, if they say that the father was going out with some girls, it won't be as bad as saying that the mother was like going out with so many other guys, because you respect the woman, you respect the mother more than you respect the father. That's the definition. And also the woman is the one who controls the that's the one it is. I mean, I remember my father say, I scream, I yell, I do everything, but at the end, what your mother said, that's what it goes. And it's true. I mean, the woman is the center, it's a control. It's a matriarchal relationship in the family. It's not a patriarchal thing. And that's what I believe. The woman has, unfortunately, she has to be the example for the kids also, and more important than the father. And that's why it's not double standard, but it is for respect as a woman and as a mother then, and and women like more delicate, more special than the guy. I mean, the guy is a little more like an animal, but the woman is like something special. I believe that to respect the woman, and if a woman doesn't respect herself, I believe that men would respect. But that's important for me. But as I said, the most important thing is like the woman always will feel used, or most of the time will feel used by a man that have sex with her, and a man is, I don't believe it, or it will be very, very in some cases that we feel that a woman use him for sex.
Mm. Do you think?
I wanted to add something, Rachel, on the subject of double standards. I think that there has to be double standards because, again, you know, like I just remembered another case where insisting on standards being the same is actually very toxic and very stupid. And the case is, you know, like when teachers have sex with their students. So, you know, if like if a mature man had sex with teenage girls in high school with his students, that wouldn't be right. But if a female teacher has sex with her student, you know, with her teenage students, I just can't see that as something really bad, because I was a teenage student, and you know, there was one teacher that I had a crush on. And, you know, if she seduced me, would I be damaged? Would I suffer for it emotionally? No, that would be a boost to my self-esteem. That would have been like that would be phenomenal. That would be great. You know, a total plus in my life. And so, you know, when they bring these girls, these teachers to court because they seduce their student, like they've done something terribly wrong, I would really like to ask the students, did you mind? Do you feel that you've been, you know, disrespected, violated, humiliated, hurt, emotionally, physically, whatever? And I guarantee you that in probably 100% of cases, these guys would be like, hell no, I love her. I'm in love with her. I want to marry her, stuff like that, you know? But we insist on like, oh, no, it has to be all the same. It has to be all the same. And then these women end up losing their jobs. They end up in prison. They end up probably with a criminal record as a sex offender for life.
Mm.
And to my mind, they've done nothing wrong. You know, nothing harmful.
Mm. Mm.
Should a woman be interested in
Yeah.
a young guy who's a 10 year younger than her? Does that reflect badly on her? That's debatable, but did she harm him? Did she diminish his life? Did she cause him emotional trauma, harm, whatever? I think definitely no. She probably taught him interesting things. She probably helped him mature. She probably helped him learn about himself, things that will make him more confident in his future relationship, etc., etc. Whereas, you know, like if a middle-aged teacher sleeps with a teenage girl, it's completely different. So yeah, I definitely think that the standards shouldn't be the same.
Mm. Mm.
It's like
And
Alex said, I will go over a little bit what Alex said. Yeah, that's what I said. Being used or being because I mean the girl will feel used by the teacher, but the guy will be like feel good. Like I can tell you this. I mean, when I see this teacher that being accused, I said, what the heck they were? I mean, yes, I would have been so happy to have all of those teachers come after me. I mean, it would be great. I mean, because it's really that's what every guy, young guy, think about it. I mean, like Alex said, I mean, you feel empowered. You learn. You feel like, oh yeah, I'm special, and then your ego goes like to the roof. Because I mean,
mm.
like I said, guys will never feel used. Maybe you can stop it. You start dreaming about getting together, getting married, but that she just wanted to that. But I mean, now getting with her and having sex with her will erase every other feeling about suffering for not being with her in a few moments. But like a teacher, a male teacher, goes after a teenage girl and does something, she will feel used and she is abandoned because the guy maybe won't be interested in continue this relationship. But for guys, feel like, oh, amazing, amazing. And like I said, I can ask any of those guys. They are being pushed by the mothers to attack the teacher. Oh yeah, she abused me, whatever. But this was being pushed by the mother, and you can say to your mother, she said, "Yeah, she abused you." Yeah, of course you would say that because I mean you want to be look different for your mother. But
Mm.
it's the mothers that the one who are accusing the teacher. Usually, it's not a student that is accusing the female teacher. I mean, probably the guy is inside is like, "Wow, I'm the news because I'm proud of what I did." It's true.
Mm. Well, it is very interesting, the male point of view. And I am curious, do women misunderstand the power of sex? They think sex, casual sex, that means that guy is interested. They misunderstand that you can have casual sex and you're not interested.
I don't know the answer to that question. I think that women are usually fairly wise about their power over men. You know, I don't think that they're naive. I think it's very often the case that a woman might use sex because she wants a lot more. You know, she wants a
Mm, mm,
committed relationship. Whereas a guy might not be interested in a committed relationship, and maybe he'll take advantage of the sex just because it's there, just because it's offer, and then he's gonna want to, how do you call it? Kind of flake out of the situation. But I don't think that it's because woman misunderstood. It's just because, you know, the interests are a little bit different. And then, you know, there's often a very wide gap between the stories we tell ourselves
mm,
and what we really are doing. You know, because we always want to tell ourselves the story in which we are nice,
mhm,
we're doing all the right things, we are generous, we do all these beautiful things for the people, and then look at what they do to us, and look, and very often, you know, we are being just as manipulative as the other person.
mm,
We just don't tell ourselves the truth about, you know, what we've how we're going about stuff, you know.
mm,
It's true. And like I said, also, women know. And there's some women that use sex to take advantage because the guy feels that responsible to give her things or to take her out to do things because she's giving sex. And they know. And they know women are smart. I mean, they're not dumb. But there are some women that are naive. And I find that sometimes that they think that giving sex will get the guy. And many times it's not like that. They are naive, and then they go and they hope, they dream, and the guy is not interested. And the guy just because they like it, having fun, they special. But I mean, but that's the difference. And but I believe that most women know. But like I said, there's the women that are experienced and they know how to manipulate things. And like Alex said, manipulation goes both ways. And women are excellent manipulating people. I mean, they are great. They are great because guys, I mean, we sometimes we just think with one thing and not with the brain many times. And the other part doesn't think that much, really. And, but girls, they know what they want and they are trying. And like I said, sometimes they make a mistake because they think that with sex will grab the guy because they are a little bit naive or they are bit dreamers. But most of the time, they also do manipulate. Both sides try to manipulate the other side. And but you have to know. Like, I mean, I cannot say I cannot put myself in a woman place. And then I don't know what they're thinking properly. I mean, I don't know why they thinking that having sex will grab the guy. I don't know. I mean, like I said, they have so many reasons: money, love, family, whatever. All these reasons. Or and also the guy. I know the guy is usually is one thing. Yes, it is true. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, but as I said, that's why the long term is the one who come will you know what exactly how the relationship is going. But if you have like a very quickly sex and all those things, the guy the first thing that I think is having sex. I mean that's the thing. It is fun and training himself. But as longer you get with the guy person, and then you become really a better relationship because then you find so many things in common. So yes, just not sex. You find some other things. Like I said, that's women have to they have to make the decision. Women should know the guy goes with one thing only. When anytime they're looking for a new relationship or are looking for someone, they're looking for one thing. And if they find the right person, if the woman is smart and know how to get it, to capture him, the guy will be okay. But the guy, the first thing they're thinking is, oh, I'm going to escort. Yeah, how many? One more in my book. That's what the guy thinking.
mm. Is the motive for casual sex different for men and women?
No, probably not. I don't
Mm,
know. I think it's the same. I think there's a fun element to it.
yes.
Physical contact is nice. It's enjoyable, probably for both. And so I think as a motive, probably pretty much the same. It's just, the differences are what happens afterwards.
Mm,
I'll say that depends on what the woman is looking for. Because I mean, casual sex, thinking long-term relationship, casual sex, thinking just to please myself, and women have those things in mind. Not those women. I mean, when I talk to women, I know that they have something in mind. I mean, I'm not a woman. I don't know if they're thinking that only. But guys, is like casual sex is satisfaction for himself. And that's what I'm thinking about it. Women can be thinking different, but that's the women. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to think as a woman because I'm not, and I'm not into that thing that feminism and thing like that. And I should know that I'm not that emotional, ni crying, ni nothing, because I'm the old style. I said, men is to do men. I mean, my father used to say, "What? You're crying? Are you a girl?" He used to tell me that, and then say, "Okay, stop crying." That even when my head bleeding, everything, stop crying and be like the man. And I believe that, and like I said, for men, it's different the way they feel like I said, so everybody, the buck is stopping me. And I fix my problems. I don't share with anyone. Women are looking for somebody to protect her, even if they said I can be my independent woman, whatever. Change a flat tire, shovel the snow, do this, and they need a man. But then in the mind, they say, yeah, I don't need a man because I can do whatever. They can do maybe CEOs, whatever they can be. But their physical work, the woman can never be like a man. The same like men, they can be like a woman. But I said, then I don't know what they're looking. The women were really looking. And of course, now with all this feminine men, I mean, the woman can also probably is stronger than so many of these guys that look like, what? No, I don't know what. I mean, they look not even like a woman, but they look like weak and wimpy and whatever. But I mean, but as I said, as a man, with the work is satisfying himself. That's it. Women, that's maybe you can date another thing. You can play with what you women feel.
mm. Do you think there is a cost accumulation of casual sex, or is it worth it?
I don't know. I have no idea. Um, to me personally, it's become meaningless in the sense that I either like to be in someone's company or I don't. And casual sex, I would have to say, more often than not, I think is not worth it because, like you always go with it because you think it's going to be good, but it isn't always good. And then, if I'm honest, I have to say it's maybe really good, really gratifying sex is more exceptional than a rule, more exception than the rule. And then if you now stop and think, an imaginary experience, let's say an experience that you never had, is it in any sense different today, right now, if you think about it? Is it even at all different than an experience that you did have? What's the difference? There is no difference.
Mm,
It's not available, it's not present to you now. So you're still always relying on your imagination, right? Whether you're remembering something or whether you remember thinking of something that never happened, I
mm,
think it has exactly the same quality. So, there is no point in accumulating these things. I don't see the upside.
Oh.
I see that if it's good, it's great. If I'm happy to wake up next to the person, then I'm happy. It's a happy experience, right? But I think that more often than not, it doesn't quite work out that way. And then it usually doesn't last that time. It usually has tails that drag on and they're never good. It's like, oh, how come you didn't call? Or, oh, this and that. And like, can we go out again? Or it becomes like an energy drain.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know if that helps, but that's my 2 cents on it.
For me, I don't believe in casual sex, not at all. I mean, that's it. I mean, I don't see it. I don't know why. I mean, maybe when I was younger, I did it because I said it was like experience, and sometimes because I, I I I wanted to feel like a man. I needed a boost, and I needed the ego to grow. But now that I'm older, I don't believe it. I believe that it's not worth it at all. It's not worth it. I mean, what the deal? I don't feel it, the importance.
Men are just these brainless sex machines who just want to get it and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's really true. I don't think that's true for most men. And I think that most men go through a period in their teenage years, in their youth, when maybe they make mistakes, maybe they're a little bit more adventurous. As Jaime said, because they want to impress their friends, because they want to count, because they want an ego boost, they want to feel like men. But I think that in the ultimate analysis, the stereotypes are a caricature of what's really there.
Jamie, do you think that's true that men have depth? That some of the stereotypes are a little off?
Yes. Yeah, and it's something I always say. I mean, women think that men they just want to have sex, they want all these things, and all men are like that, whatever. They're stereotyping in a way that it's not true. Like I said, oh, men cannot stop, but men always think about it. It's not true. I mean, number one, there's so many problems that you're going through that you don't think about it. I mean, the same way. And if a woman comes to you, whatever, it's another problem. And then really for a man, because it's not saying that it's a problem really, but as a man, because you are used to solve everything, and you don't. As a man, we don't discuss with other men saying, man, can we go to the washroom together and that way we can talk? No, I mean, women that they go out together, they talk together. Guys, we don't share our problem. It's like we sit down in front of a TV and say, "How you doing?" "Oh, great. Yeah, okay." And you? Perfect. Oh, perfect. Okay, all right. A beer. And I enjoy it. And maybe you are dying yourself with so many problems, but that's the way we act. Women, you ask a woman, "How you doing?" And she will blah, 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 and start talking and saying and crying, and then, oh my God. And that's like the same thing. It's like when women said, we need to talk, a guy gets scared. A guy gets scared because, I mean, she going to talk, and then I don't think she found about this. I mean, I don't think about it. You start thinking all those things, and women want to talk, or a woman said, "I'm cold," and maybe she's thinking, "Okay, come and embrace me," and the guy goes, "Here is a blanket," boom, and that, I mean, we are different the way we think, but women think that we always think about sex. What do you think about sex? Women say, "I'm cold." "Oh yeah, come on, come and grab you." But it's not true. I mean, and we have so many other issues going on, and especially in this world. And it's that we are very different. I mean, it doesn't matter. They want to make us equal. It doesn't matter. We are very different, but we are being stereotyped as oh yeah, you guys only think about sex. You only want to score or put a new market there, but it's not true. Especially all that you get, you think less. It doesn't mean that you don't like it. That is a different thing. But is yeah, yeah, you're always thinking about it, or you want to do it, or if even if you have the opportunities many times, you said no.
Mm.
I
So,
think there's another aspect that we need to mention, Rachel, and that is that, okay, so if we look at today's society, we have more than half of all marriages that fall apart. And, does that mean that more than half of all the people are defective, or that they're no good? Because, every experience is individual, like, and I know very, very well how my relationship with my ex-wife was, and she has her own point of view, and she would probably say that I'm no good, and I might say that she's no good. But it can't be that we're all like that. Like suddenly
mhm,
everybody went bad. Something else is going on. And I thought about this, and I think that through probably 99% of human, evolution, the evolution of human societies, we didn't live in these nuclear families on top of one another every day, all day, or, every day after work, and however the case may be. I think that we lived in small communities,
mm,
tribes, villages, towns, whatever, in which women did the women's things and men did men's things. And so let's say men would go hunting, and maybe they would go away for a few days, or they would go on a trawler, on a fishing boat and go away, or they would go trading and they would be away
mhm,
for a few months, because they had to
yes,
sail, I don't know, from Venice to Constantinople and back,
mm,
and maybe have some fights with the pirates on the way. And so I think that when they got together again, men and women, there was a little bit of longing and fondness.
mm,
And, maybe you had a time together, which was constructive, and then was time for the man to go away again somewhere, right? Or maybe just till the field from night,
mhm,
or take animals to the pasture. And women, they did women's things with other women, probably in multiple generation, the
yes,
grandmothers and the aunts and the sisters and the cousins and the children running around everywhere. And I think that women shared those experiences with one another. And maybe when a young wife of some bloke who she was getting frustrated with was not happy, then,
yes,
maybe her mother or her aunt would tell her, calm down, it's okay, he's a good guy, don't freak out. And so, the whole community had a moderating influence
mm,
on one another. And in today's modern society, we're closed in these nuclear families. There is no moderating influence. So when
mm,
we are in our four walls on top of each other, there's no inhibitions, right? It
oh,
just goes.
yes,
And because, because I am the nearest and the safest uh, pressure valve to my woman, well, then everything that's wrong in her life
mm,
is directed at me and ultimately
yes,
becomes my responsibility and my fault. And I'm not, I'm not talking about just my experience. I have many friends who tell me exactly the same thing.
mm,
They are blamed for absolutely freaking everything.
mm,
That's their frustration. Of course, I'm sure that their women would have a different point of view, but that's the frustration. And I think that part of that frustration is that we don't have this multi-generational moderating influence on one another, but we're
mhm,
somebody who has had longer experience in life and marriage and raising
yes,
children can say, like, calm down, everything is fine.
yes,
And where, rather than going off to war or to fishing boats or to hunting expeditions, we are there every day,
yeah,
and everything that's wrong gets bounced off of us. And, you know, I'm for a lot of things in life, I'm completely helpless. I cannot control many things in my life. I can start a business. You can open a restaurant, but you cannot force people to come and eat and pay, right?
yes,
So you do your best, but how the world responds is you cannot control, right? And so you can't straighten every curve under the sun so that your little woman would say like, you're good, you're doing everything right. There's always going to be something that you didn't do right. And then, so like that was my frustration in my marriage, but I assume that not only that I assume, I know many men in the similar situation. The experiences are very similar. And also, what's very similar is that there is no moderating influence, there is no outside support. It's just what happens and I notice also in my experiences with my ex-wife is that if we spend some time with her parents, or with my parents, or with my brother's family, or with her sister's families, or even with just our friends,
Yes.
that we would get along a lot better. Not because I'm better, not because she's better, but because that environment all in itself forced inhibitions.
Ooh.
You couldn't just fly off the handle in front of everybody, right? So you had to moderate yourself. And just by not flying off the handle, because, like when you fly off the handle, you just like ramp up all these neural networks that, like you just, how do you call it? You like rev yourself up into something that you don't have to do, like you can perfectly control yourself, except if you're if you're confronted by your spouse, well, you can let him have it. Whereas if your mother or your father or his father is there, you have to control yourself. You have to not make a scene. You have to not make yourself into a loony. So, we used to live in very different circumstances than we do today. And so the fault is obviously partly in us because we're not perfect, but can the world depend on people being perfect? No. So I think that the way we've arranged today's society, and I think this is being done deliberately, the families are being atomized deliberately. We're cutting off, people laugh at kids who stay to live with their parents. I'm sorry, until like maybe 2 generations ago, that was perfectly normal because, if you try, it's so much cheaper and so much easier to run one household than running 2 households. 2 groceries, 2 cookings, 2 washing dishes, 2 washing laundries. If you have your family near, your wider family, as a father, when my kids were little, I can tell you that having my parents near was the greatest luxury I could even contemplate. The greatest luxury. Like nothing was as helpful, as calming, as relieving as just having my folks there. So yeah, we've the modern society has been arranged in a way that maybe brings the worst in us in some circumstances. It's not supportive to the families and not supportive to marriages. And so I think that a lot of the problems between sexes are not because we are all bad, but because we are put in exceptionally challenging circumstances, and we're not built for that. We're not made for that. Like you take a carp and you put him in the salt water, he's not going to do so well. It's the same animal, but it's not going to go well. And so, yeah, the society has become adversarial to the life of a family.
And so
And I
something that's
think, sorry, forgive me, just 10 seconds.
okay.
And I think that if we had good, stable families, this whole thing about casual sex wouldn't even be a thing. Wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah. And like I said, I will add something also. Also, they want to destroy the male figure, and you see everywhere campaigns about how useless the men, how helpless, that this toxic masculinity, like, and then the women are losing respect from the man in a way, and then if a man cannot do something, yeah, he's useless. He did it because it is the campaign. I remember one time in this Instagram post that somebody sent to me. It's like this lady said that she asking people how she can prepare a sandwich for her husband, and then all these women attacking her. Why you have to prepare a sandwich for your husband? This attacking her like it was like bad. Tell him, and then she posted her husband showering. And he said, because he's doing that, I'm here in my house comfortably waiting for him. The least I can do is prepare a sandwich for him. And but it was attacking her so much, like this guy is. I mean, he can do it. You don't have to do it. And I believe that is getting into the women society, because it's like they want to destroy the male figure, because what happened in the world right now, the only people that can oppose to what's trying to do would be like real men. I mean, like it or not, it's the real men that will fight back and they will do it. And they want to destroy that. They want to make it weak, and they are doing it. And that's why all this changing gender or whatever and destroying the male figure.
Wow. Well, I really like the male point of view, respect, depth, even with sex. So interesting. Thank you so much, Alex and Jamie.
Thank you, Rachel. It was a pleasure.